I'm a former shopaholic who turned things around to save 100K for a house deposit in London. I used to think that I was bad at saving money, but the truth is I was just bored, stressed out, and trying to make myself feel better by spending money. Today, I want to share with you the 20 habits and hacks that I use to rewire my brain chemistry and turn myself from a spender into a saver. Some of these are a bit extreme, but they work. Let's get into it. Your spending habits don't usually disappear from willpower alone. They change when you interrupt the cue, replace the routine, and repeat it long enough for your brain to automate the new pattern. One of the best ways to break the habit of spending money is to set yourself a 30-day no-spend challenge. In the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, the habit loop, cue, routine, reward is key to change. So for a no-spend month, identify your shopping cue, like boredom, for example, and swap the routine for something that will alleviate that boredom while keeping the reward of satisfaction. For me, this is working out, for example. This approach helped multiple people in the book break their bad cycles, making it perfect for saving money by redirecting spending urges without willpower. In your no-spend month, set yourself the challenge to spend only on essentials. So rent, bills, food, and transport, and buy nothing else. No clothes, no trips, no dinners out. It's tough, but it's going to break the pattern, and you will have completely reset your spending habits by the end of the month because you'll see exactly how much money you were able to save while having switched your main money spending cue for something else. Saving is so much easier if you automate it to make the amount of money that you want to save get direct debited out of your account on payday every month into a separate account so you never have to think about it. It also, in a way, kind of forces you to save first and spend later instead of the other way around. Psychologically, we are so much less likely to save if there is an extra step that we have to take. And also, by starting the month with less money in your account, your brain adjusts around what you actually have left. And the temptation of spending money on something that we want right now isn't there. We are really influenced by who we follow on social media, whether we want to believe it or not. By curating your feed away from fashion and home decor accounts or influencers living luxury lifestyles towards more educational or news and entertainment accounts, then you are less likely to be seeing all these lifestyles and products that you want and constantly spending your money on them. It also reduces impulse purchases as well as the FOMO of needing to go out to the latest bar or get the latest fashion trend. Our impulse purchases are usually things that we want to buy that we don't need that give us a bit of a dopamine hit, like a new clothing item, gadget, or new home decor. I find that before clicking add to basket on something that will give me a rush right now, I try and reframe the cost of that purchase by thinking how many hours or days do I need to work to buy this thing? If I need to work more than one day to afford something I'm adding to my basket, it makes me think twice about how much I actually want that thing. A whole day of your life is valuable. Do you want to spend it just to get a new dress? Speaking of impulse purchases, this may seem counterintuitive, but all those newsletters and website memberships that you have that are sending you emails every day about deals, unsubscribe from all of those. You may think that they are saving you money, where in actual fact, they are directing you to their websites to shop even more and buy things that you don't need. Creating more friction between you and your online purchase is one of the best ways to save money, and I do this by unsaving all my credit cards from my Apple Wallet on my phone. This means that when I need to make an online purchase, I have to go and get the physical card out and type the number in. This extra step makes me think twice about my purchase. When it comes to curbing your shopping habits, the one thing that I find really helps is decluttering my house, especially my closet. By pulling everything out onto the bed and putting things that you want to keep back in one by one, this forces you to actually see all of the clothes that you have and realize that you probably don't need any new ones. You can supercharge this by setting yourself a 30-day challenge to never wear the same outfit twice. You will become hyper aware of how many great clothes you already have. When it comes to clothes, I love fashion, but I try less and less to get fast fashion items that I only wear one time, and I focus on getting quality pieces that last, especially for high-use items that I wear every single day. I find that if I shop somewhere really cheap, like Primark or H&M, yes, it's cheaper at the time, but the fabric tends to get damaged and worn out so much more quickly, so then I'm rebuying the same item every year. So for high use items like leggings, for example, I go for high quality brands that have a high initial outlay, like £120, but they last me for years. I have 2 pairs of black leggings that I bought literally in 2015 that were expensive at the time, but I have worn them and washed them a million times and they still look good. The price per wear for these is probably in the pennies by now. It really helps if you have a fashion uniform for yourself. Have you noticed that billionaires often wear the same color t-shirt every day? Think Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs. It's not because they don't have the money to buy anything else. It just simplifies your life to have a signature look. I think we all have the same situation of wearing a very similar outfit every day, but having a closet full of clothes that we rarely wear. By curating your signature look and rotating between just 5 to 10 high-use items that you wear on repeat, you reduce excessive spending on fashion. One thing that we're all really out of the habit of doing is getting our clothing items fixed. Due to so much fast fashion, it's really easy to think, hey, this thing only cost me £10, it has a hole in it now, so I'm going to throw it out and buy another one. It works out so much cheaper in the long run to buy one higher quality item than either get it repaired or, for easier fixes like holes in a seam, learn how to do really basic sewing at home. You can easily learn this on YouTube for free. I have a pair of boots from a good high street store that were mid-priced, around £180, and I've had these boots for 14 years. I've worn them all winter. I've only had to have them resold once during that time. And again, the price per wear for these is literal pennies, so buy it nice or buy it twice. Next, we get to the one in, one out rule. If there's a clothing item that you really want, force yourself to get rid of one clothing item by selling it on Vinted or eBay before you buy a new one. This stops clutter buildup and puts more friction into your shopping habit, forcing you to slow down and really consider your spend and new purchase. It's about being intentional with your shopping instead of impulsive. When I'm about to make an online purchase for a household item like lights, furniture, or even appliances, I will screenshot the item off the website that I found it on and put it into Google Lens. This site then scans the internet to find what other sites have that exact same image and gives you a page full of results for where that image is on other websites. And because Google's really tailored towards encouraging shopping, it also lists the price next to it. I have saved thousands during my house renovation by doing this to every item that I needed to buy for my house. While I'm talking about household things and helping you find cheaper products, I have to put you on to dupe.com, which is the single biggest hack that I have for finding things so much cheaper. So if you're looking for something online, you can go up to the search bar and at the beginning type dupe.com / at the start of the address. It will then proceed to find you cheaper dupes that look very similar to what you're wanting, but for a much lower price. It's ideal for things that you need for the house and high ticket items like furniture. You can save hundreds or even thousands. I just did this for a garden furniture set I wanted and found something almost identical for half the price, saving me hundreds of pounds. When I'm doing my non-essentials spending, I put almost everything onto a credit card that gives me rewards. Personally, I love to travel, so I use the BA Amex card that gives me frequent flyer points for every pound I spend, which I later convert into extremely cheap flights where I just pay the tax on the seat. For example, this year I did a return trip to Rio in Brazil in premium economy that only cost me £200 return because I paid for the rest with points. Don't sleep on this system. I will leave a link to this in the description box below to apply for one of these cards. You can supercharge this by shopping through their website that links you to many retailers that you would already use and gives you multiple of, for example, 8 points per pound spend, which can skyrocket all your points and get you to these cheap deals much, much faster. I set a calendar alert for the end of every single bill contract I have, ranging from electricity to mobile, all my utilities. And on that alert day, I will hunt around for a better deal. There is always a way to save money by switching providers, or if you want to stay with your current one, just call them and tell them you're canceling unless they give you the same price as another provider that you've already researched. It works almost every time. I recently realized that my £19 a month mobile deal had crept up to £30. And when I shopped around for a better deal, I found one with even more data for £2.38, which saved me over £360 a year. If I hadn't set my alert, I wouldn't have known. I definitely believe in waste not, want not, and I apply this every week to my food and grocery shopping. I don't set a regular weekly shopping day. What I do instead is every time I think I'm running out of groceries to the point where I need to do a shop, I take stock of what I actually have in the fridge and pantry and see where I can get creative and make something using just those things. Sometimes we feel like we don't have enough food, but when we get creative, we realize we actually have an abundance. For example, I like eating eggs for breakfast most days, and when I find myself running out, I used to go straight to do a full week's shop at the supermarket. What I now do instead is look around at everything else that I have and figure out what else I can have for breakfast for the next few days before going to the store, like a porridge or a smoothie, for example. You can apply this to all of your meals, like you might just have one type of vegetable, a can of tuna, some rice or pasta left, but with some creativity and adding seasonings, you can actually turn that into a really nice meal or two. I regularly rotate my cans and packets in my pantry to see what is going out of date first and use that up. If you aren't a creative cook, just use AI, type in the ingredients that you have and let it create the recipe for you. When it comes to regular purchases that you use every single week, like toothpaste, toilet paper, for me it is soya milk, I get these on subscription from Amazon. This way you're not only guaranteeing that you'll never run out, you're locking in a lower price, usually 5% off, and you're not having to walk into a supermarket to get these things if they run out, meaning that you're less exposed to buying more things that you don't need. If I know I'm going out for dinner to an expensive place, I eat beforehand. Yes, this sounds unhinged because then what is the point of going out to dinner? But it means you can still go to a nice place, but you only have room for appetizers, which will cost so much less money than main courses. A lot of breaking habits is also removing yourself from the environment that causes that habit, instead of trying to rely on willpower to do it for you. When I worked for a corporate job, I used to have to walk through a shopping mall to get to the train station to go home and ended up spending hundreds of pounds at least once a week on clothes. When I rerouted my walk a different way out of the temptation of those shops, it totally changed my spending habits because I now would have to go out of my way to go inside a store. Lastly, one of the most powerful things you can do to stop overspending habits is to create a happy life for yourself. We so often overspend on things we don't need to fill a happiness gap in our life and try and trick ourselves into thinking that we're happy, when the reality is we're just trying to plug our unhappiness with material things and holidays. I want you to make a list right now of all the things that make you happy that involve little or no spend. This could be a walk in the park, a relaxing bubble bath with nice candles burning, spending time with friends cooking together. At the more transformative end, take a good look at your job, your home, and your relationships to see what makes you happy and what doesn't. It's your life. Only you can take steps towards positive change. I hope you found all these tips helpful. If you want even more money-saving tips, watch this video next. And I will see you next week for more life-changing advice on how you can get on top of your finances. Ciao for now.